Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar this evening with me as your host, Floyd Holdman, and I am definitely a bioactivist. And we are going to talk tonight about why Morinda Bioactives is the path to financial freedom. But before we go too far, I just want to make a little announcement here that my wife and I were married 47 years ago today. So I am spending my evening of our anniversary with all of you. We went out to the movies and to dinner today. But 47 years ago, on June the 19th in 1965, and actually we're still on our honeymoon. This is a picture we took in Tahiti looking over at Morinda. So I want to thank all of you for attending and thank my lovely wife Ann for marrying me all those 47 years ago. We now have 8 children and 17 grandchildren. So thank you, Ann. And also, I would like to do one other thing. I would like to thank all of those that prayed for me during my operation and also for my recovery. The operation was March the 20th, and I want everybody to know that everything worked out just fine. I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I'm active. I'm doing things. I'm even riding my motorcycle again. And I'm out doing things. I'm not bowling yet, but I'm feeling great and things are looking wonderful. So thank you for all your concern and for all of your prayers. Now we're going to talk tonight about Morinda. Last week we talked about networking in general. Tonight we're going to talk about Morinda itself, Morinda Bioactives. So first let's talk about what is this industry that we're in. What we're in is the word-of-mouth industry. Now, many of you go to the movies and you've seen different shows. Now, the shows that you see that you really like, they become better and better known through word-of-mouth advertising. There are some shows that have had a lot of promotion, and yet they didn't do any good at all. And yet some had no promotion, and yet they did very well. And it all happens through word-of-mouth advertising. So you see a good movie, you go tell someone else about it. And then they go see the movie. But let me ask you, when is the last time that any of these companies, including Walt Disney or Marvel Comics or any of these others, when is the last time any of them sent you a thank you check? Yeah, I don't think that it's happened because they just don't do it that way. They spend millions and millions of dollars on advertising. But the strongest form of advertising is word-of-mouth advertising. So let's talk about that just for a moment. This is the form of advertising that we use in our business, Morinda Bioactives. You see, you introduce Morinda, our products, to a friend. And if they're interested in the business, you sponsor them into the business, and they are forever linked to you with your ID number. Now, Morinda ships them the product. You don't have to worry about it. So you get them into the business or the product. Morinda sends them the product. And then every week you get a thank you check. In fact, there are 5 checks a month that go out plus quarterly bonuses to those who become very successful that you get for word-of-mouth advertising. You tell somebody about something, they like it, they tell somebody else, and it just happens, and then you get a check for it. Now, people say, well, I don't know about this form of marketing. Well, let's look at traditional marketing, okay? How does that work? Well, first you start with raw materials. Now, the people at the raw materials, they got these materials that wherever they've got it, from the plants, from the earth, from the water, wherever, and they have to get a salesman and somebody that can go out and find a manufacturer that needs those raw materials. Now, that salesman is going to get a commission. Now, the manufacturer has sales representatives who have to go out and find a wholesaler who will represent them, and he gets a commission. Now, the wholesaler has a representative that's going to get paid a commission to take it to the local store. Now, what is the local store's goal? The goal of the local store is to sell it to you. But how are they going to let you know about it? Here's how they do it, through advertising. Whether it's the newspaper, now they're using the internet, whether it's the radio, whatever. And they have to pay for that also. So when people say to you, well, prices are a lot more expensive if you get it through a networking company, well, sometimes that's true because the quality is higher than what you find in the stores. That sometimes can have good products, sometimes not. But it's not because of the commissions that are paid. Because you see, look at these people that take a piece out of that pie, and the advertising can take a pretty big piece. So you got to ask yourself, what type of marketing do you think is the best for you, for me, for us, what I call the small people, the everyday people, the people that are looking for a chance to get ahead, that don't have pockets lined with gold or silver. Well, you look at this and you look at this. You sponsor somebody, you get a check for the advertising, and other people get a check also that take the place of all of the wholesalers and whatever else. It is really that simple. So with that idea in mind, you are going to get paid to talk to your friends. Isn't that exciting? You get paid to talk to your friends. People like to talk to their friends. Wouldn't it be great to get paid for it and to do some good for them? Now I'm going to show you 20 reasons why Morinda Bioactives is better than traditional marketing. And it is. And I'm going to show you tonight 20 reasons why. Reason number 1 is small startup costs. You know, many traditional businesses take a heavy investment in equipment and even office or retail space. I know. I ran a restaurant once. I had another business I was in that had to have office space that I had to rent. You get started in our business in Morinda with a very minimal investment to get started. And you should be able to recoup your investment within 30 days. Now that's a pretty good deal. Number 2, there's virtually no risk. Since you have no large investment, your financial risk is almost non-existent. You really have nothing to lose except a little of your time, and yet you have everything to gain. Where else can you start a business for just a little bit of money, you know, maybe a few $100s or a little bit less, and have the potential for financial freedom? Not very many places. Now, the other advantage is, let me ask you a question. Would you like to have this as you're going to work every day, or would you like to work from your home and have this? Work, you know, at your own leisure, but not to fight that cement jungle that a lot of people have to do and waste your time in traffic. I knew somebody who was a photographer that shot a lot of stuff for Disney, but he worked basically at a base out in Tooele, west of here. He drove 4 hours, 4 days a week, because he worked long hours so he could take 3 days off. But he drove 4 hours every day to go to work and come home. 4 hours a day. How would it be to be able to work from your home like I'm doing right now? I'm broadcasting from my home. You know, this is ideal for women who want to be home with their families and also earn some extra income. It's good for the person who's tired of punching the clock and also being paid what a job is worth instead of what they are worth. Let's look at number 4, flexible hours. You know, in corporate America, you're married to the clock. Your employer decides the hours you work, the time you get off, and a lot of businesses do not have much flexibility. Even owning your own business isn't always the answer. And some businesses can become very demanding. You may think you own your business, but in reality, your business may own you. In our business in Morinda, it's usually started with most people on a part-time basis, and you're always in control of the amount of the time that you want to put in. Now, true, the more time you put in, the more money you're going to make. But you decide the hours you want to work. And by giving up a little of your leisure time, putting aside the TV, the bowling leagues, at night at the movies, you can receive a lot of dividends down the road. But your hours are very flexible. Number 5, no special licenses or training required. You know, to become an attorney requires several years of schooling, and then you must pass the bar exams. Doctors require even more schooling and training, and you start with the burden of heavy debt before you see your first paying customer. How would you like to earn while you learn? You know, even many of the trade occupations require apprentices, you know, the apprenticeships, before you can even be licensed. And you are to have your salary or your, you know, hourly wages increased. It's, you know, it can be a hard thing to do. But in Morinda, there are no exams to take. There's no special licenses to acquire. There's no unions to join. And duplication of effort. This is the part I think is very exciting. You look at a professional business. In my neighborhood, there's a lot of doctors, dentists, and attorneys. Okay? They are the owner of that business. The staff is only there to assist them, and they add to the overhead. For instance, if the doctor's on vacation, there's no income producing activities going on, yet the overhead stays the same. The money that is earned is mainly because of his efforts, and when he's not working, the money machine stops. So very few people ever become wealthy without duplicating their efforts through others. So in our business, when you start duplicating your efforts through others, you're going to see extra income come to you because of them. J. Paul Getty said, I would rather be paid 5% on the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts. Now, there's been some dispute whether it's J. Paul Getty that said it or whether it was Henry Ford that said it, but it's still a great quote. It was made by a person who was very successful. And so you see, you're going to be paid every time product is moved through these other people that you bring into the business, or that the people that you bring in, the people they bring into the business. They're all distribution centers. Now, here's another good part of what we're doing. We franchise people. See, we do not franchise locations and have to pay more money for each one. We franchise people. We are a consumer distribution business is what we are. And so, like with myself, I started here in the U.S., but we're not limited to that. From the U.S., we have a worldwide compensation plan, and my organization grew around the world. And right now, the Evergreen team is in 76 countries. Think about that, folks. I earn income right now from 76 countries, and yet I started with one case of Tahitian noni juice and an application fee. And that's how I started. Now, number 7, there's no large inventories to drain your capital. See, I didn't have to support all those other countries and everything. The company set that up. So you don't have these large inventories to drain your capital. You know, a lot of companies have a large amount of their assets tied up in inventory to supply their customers, which can also lead to additional taxes at the end of the year. And also a lot of people have to get bank loans. Now, Morinda didn't have to do that. That's why my banker signed up with me, the first networking company he had ever been in, because we went to him, you know, the company went to him, Morinda did, to work with him and put the money in there and use the credit cards and so on, but we didn't borrow any money, and that impressed him so much he wanted to sign up. And he became one of my first 3 pearls, by the way. So in Morinda, you do not need any large inventory to start your business. You just don't need it, because the company itself, you see, ships the product. They get the product to whoever you bring into the business. So you don't need the large inventory. And then when they call a toll-free number is what they do. They place the order, and you receive credit for the sale without even being involved in the process. How wonderful is that? Number 8, our company and our industry is discrimination-free. No matter what your race, your color, your religion, your age, or your gender, you can succeed in Morinda. It's the most colorblind of all the businesses. And your background and your education doesn't even matter. Whether you have a college degree or whatever you've done, it doesn't matter. What matters is your own personality and your willingness and effort to work. Your success or failure depends solely on your own ability and not on someone else's prejudices. Our files are full of stories of people who were broke when they started, people that didn't have education, people that were minorities, that were never given a chance in the normal business world. And now they're free of debt, and they're financially strong. Look at number 9, tax benefits. A salaried employee has no tax-related deductions except the interest on their home mortgage. Can you imagine going to resorts around the world for conferences, meetings, and trainings that Morinda has and have it deducted as a business expense? You can. In fact, many of the times Morinda self-pays for some of these trips. But it becomes a business expense when you're there on business. Once you're a self-employed person, many tax advantages open up for you. You'll be able to travel to and from your appointments and your meetings, have a home office, receive tax benefits. So there's a lot of write-offs that you can have also. Number 10, there's no regulatory problems. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Morinda takes care of all the regulatory problems set up by local, national, and international governments. For instance, when you buy your product, the local tax is paid. The sales tax is paid by Morinda. They have a special computer set up for every counter that are updated constantly, every county, rather, that's all over our country, of what the taxes should be. And Morinda pays those taxes. And so that's already taken care of. They have the necessary, the skills, the knowledge, the personnel, the tools to take care of this. And the cost to you, it's nothing. It's all part of Morinda's support to help you succeed in your business. And you'll be able to run a national and an international business from the comfort of your own home with nothing more than a phone, maybe a fax machine, your computer, the internet, and you're in business. Let's look at, in fact, let me show you one other thing here. When we went into Europe, it took 4 years, and the company invested $2 million working through regulations in Europe. $2 million in 4 years. I couldn't have afforded to be able to do that when we opened it up with our glass bottles here of Tahitian noni. Well, we got into Europe, and now Europe is going strong. And now with the latest launch that we just had with our Max and our other bioactive products, we opened over 30 countries simultaneously. That's never been done in our industry, folks. We opened more countries on the same month than the iPhone and the iPads did with Apple Computer when they launched their new products. And what's interesting is it was so successful is that they sent what they thought would be 4 months supply, and it sold out in 2.5 weeks. That's the demand that we're having for our product, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But these are the regulatory problems and the requirements that are around the world that the company takes care of for you, and you don't have to worry about it. Number 11, you don't have to have any employees. With more and more regulations that are being imposed on businesses by governments worldwide, it's become an administrative nightmare. It really has. And a serious business needs to hire specialists to keep up with the regulations. But see, since each distributor in our business is an independent agent, you have no employer-to-employee relationships. So there's no payroll taxes to fill out, no government agencies or forms to worry about. Your job is to recruit and train. Morinda takes care of all of the rest. Let's look at number 12, a positive environment. Boy, that's one thing I really love about this business. In the corporate world, most of the time people are looking over their shoulder, wondering who's going to try to take their job and wonder if they'll get that raise or promotion or be passed over that they're counting on. Or maybe they're a victim of downsizing, and usually you have no choice of who you're going to work with. And that can lead to a great amount of frustration and also insecurity. In Morinda, you have just the opposite. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have a whole upline of people that are pulling for your success, that are they want to help you, and people that will go out of the way to help you succeed along with the company itself. You choose the people you want to work with. You are surrounded by people with a like mind like you, and it creates a positive, exciting environment. You see, that's what I like about our business. In our business, the weeds pull themselves. Everybody that stays is really a flower. I mean, it's just so great that you're around positive, motivated, excited people that have dreams and ambitions just like you do. And it's everybody pulling together that makes it work. The way you build and the way you're successful in our business is to serve others and to help others. You can't climb the mountain unless you're helping somebody else climb the mountain at the same time. Number 13. No accounts receivable or collection problems. I had that problem before when I was a photographer. Sometimes it took me 3 and 4 months to get paid after I paid out all my expenses. So accounts receivable, in fact, have destroyed a lot of businesses. And collection problems can be costly and also bad for customer relations. So since Morinda, the business we have, is done on a cash and carry system, you have no negative cash flow. And everybody calls a toll-free number, place their orders, use a credit card or a debit card. You never even have to handle the money. In fact, the only money you have to worry about is is how to cash your check, okay? And that shouldn't be a problem. We also have inexpensive training. Now compare this for a moment, what a doctor, an attorney, and many other people that are even going to be teachers have to go through. You go to school for years, and you spend a staggering amount of money to be trained and schooled, and then the doctors and the attorneys, the dentists, they started the business already heavy in debt. In Morinda, you may have the cost of a few materials, some DVDs, some CDs, or an inexpensive training session, but you begin making money while you're being trained, unlike many professional occupations. Like I said earlier, you actually earn while you learn. And so what are some of those inexpensive trainings we have? You have webinars like this one right now that cost you absolutely nothing except your internet connection. You have conference calls constantly from my organization, from the company, and others. You have meetings you can go to, sometimes free, sometimes for a minimal expense. DVDs that you can get, buy or download. Three-way calls that your organization can help you with, your upline can help you with, the company can help you with. And you have websites that you can go to. T&I even has a website right now that you can use to help recruit and tell people about your business. It's free. Folks, it's free. You don't even have to pay for the one that's at the beginning level, which is really quite good. That's the one that I'm using right now, not any sophisticated, complicated one. It's at mymorinda.com, and then you get it set up with your ID number or your name if nobody else has it, and you're in business. I mean, that's pretty inexpensive training. And then on top of that, with the training flexibility, that's number 15 on our list. You know, you can do the training either, well, while you're in your car, you can listen to things while you're going, or you can have training flexibility by listening to it wherever you're at. And it's just absolutely incredible how it can work for you. And that's another one of the great benefits of what we have, is you can be trained in your own home, at your own leisure, 4 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whenever you want to do it, you can be trained. Okay, so you have the training flexibility. And of course, an exciting one is number 16, quick income. We have our Fast Start bonus. You can receive income weekly. In fact, the company pays out 5 checks a week plus monthly bonuses for those that qualify for the Black Pearl. See, most people trade their time for money. You want more money? What do you have to do? Work more hours, or you get paid more per hour. There's only so many hours a week a person can work, or so many hours a day. And so a lot of professionals are paid more per hour than salaried workers. They still reach their limit because they're limited by what they can personally do. And that's lawyers and doctors and so on. They still reach their limit. So eventually a person being paid through their own efforts will reach the top of their earning potential. So how would you like to be paid what you're worth instead of what a job is worth? That's what happens in our business. You're no longer limited by the confines of your job description. There's no artificial ceiling put on your earnings. Number 17, unlimited income potential. Wow. I think I just went backwards here. Okay, here we go. You can out-earn doctors, lawyers, professionals. You see, you can. I earn more money than all the professionals in my neighborhood that went to school for 8 to 10 years. You can out-earn those people if you really put the energy and the work into it. And the other, by the way, we've created over 200 millionaires, and we're still growing. Why shouldn't you be one of the next ones? And you can be. On this page, you see millionaires here from Mexico, from Japan, from Sweden, from Norway, from Canada, the U.S., and some of these people now travel all over the world with their business and setting up operations in other places. Boy, it's really sweet what they'll be able to do right now since they joined with Morinda. And continuous demand. Boy, that's an important one. A good business offers a product that people want, need, and can afford. A product with an emotional appeal will also be recession-proof. People buy on emotion, not on logic. We know that's true. And they want your product no matter what the economy is doing, if that product has helped them. So true business success lies in repeat sales, residual income, and offering a product that fills a universal need. Morinda Bioactives, with our Thrive products now, and also the FIT program we have now, the Defy, all the programs and the product that we have, fill those needs. We have such a product for continuous demand, which is so important. The question you got to ask yourself when you look at a networking opportunity, if there was no business attached, would I still buy this product? You see? Because a lot of people join them just to make money on the business. They don't even learn about the products. I've had them tell me before, people I've tried to bring into our business, I don't care about the product, we're just in it for the money. Big mistake, because those businesses will not last. You've got to have a product that people want, even if they're not in the business. And for instance, and anybody can use our product, from little children, from senior citizens. Everybody can use our product. It's not limited by a certain age group. And athletic champions use our product. As we can see here, there's a list of scores and scores of athletes around the world that use our product that helps them in their recovery time, and it's been approved by the anti-doping associations. It is totally harmless. Anybody can take our product under any conditions at any time. And we're one of the fastest growing companies in history. Now think about that. Look at this chart here. The 4 fastest growing companies in history you see there. Number 1 was Google, then was FedEx, and then was Intel. And number 4, Morinda Bioactives. From inception, Morinda Bioactives grew faster. Sony, Nike, Marriott, Pepsi, IBM, Disney, McDonald's, Nestle, Xerox. You ever hear any of those names? I think so. That's how fast we grew from inception, folks. That's absolutely phenomenal. And yet it was done through word-of-mouth advertising. That's what we have, and we're still growing today. Morinda has spent over $250 million has been spent on research and development and the facilities to have that happen. $250 million, folks. That's a real commitment. And on top of that now, there's over 13 human clinical trials and studies that shows the evidence and the proof that our product really does work. It's being done through third parties, through universities, through study groups, and is being written about in scientific journals. We have a product, folks, that really works. It's not a placebo. It really works. And today we can say more and more about it because we have the scientific evidence to back up what we have. And number 19, it's not affected by the local economy. That's very important, folks. When, let's just say this. You want a business that's separated from the local economy. If you rely only on local sales, anytime a natural or man-made disaster may occur, then you're out of business. I remember back when the hurricanes hit Florida, and I saw the different news articles in the paper, people even working in the fast food restaurants were out of work because people weren't buying, roofs were torn off, everything was a mess. And they were hurting for food, they were hurting for water, they were hurting to be able to pay their house payments or their car payments or so on. But the difference here, when you expand your business out from your own local area, then these disasters can happen, but there's another area that can fill in the space. An example is that we were in Hawaii with our distributors for our vision retreat many years back when the hurricanes, a pretty big one, hit Florida. Well, this person's house was wiped out. It was gone. You know what he did? He went to Europe because he had a downline in Europe. His checks didn't stop like people that lived there and only relied on the local economy. His checks kept coming in. Now, they went down just a little bit from the people in Florida, but the others kept growing. And he went to work in Europe for several months while he had his house rebuilt. I mean, folks, that is true residual income. To have a business that you can cross the city, state, and even country boundaries, as I showed you earlier, to build your organization. You're not limited by any economic climate in any given place. And if things slow down in one area, they'll be booming in another area. I guarantee you. So geographical diversification can add a measure of stability to your business, and that's an important thing to do. Build yourself a worldwide organization. Now, you don't have to know everybody everywhere. I did when I started, but yet I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and it started spreading. Even within the U.S., there's different states, different areas, and they're not all totally linked together with a certain type of natural disasters or whatever. So you can build a worldwide organization in our company, folks, and it doesn't cost you any more to sign somebody up somewhere else out of your city than it does to sign up somebody right where you are. And number 12 is willable. See, a Morinda business can be transferred at death in a will. And unlike almost all the conventional businesses, this type of business can be transferred estate tax-free. Because see, you are transferring cash flow, not highly taxed capital assets. You're transferring cash flow. And there's a lot of some networking companies will not let you transfer your distributorship if you die. Did you know that? That is very true, folks. So you'll be able to actually financially bless the members of your family. This is some of my family. There's a few more right now. Now with our 8 children, we have 17 grandchildren. There's a few more than what this picture shows now. We're doing another picture this summer. But you'll be able to bless your family with residual income. I was able to give down payments for each one of my children when they bought their homes. And they can continue to be blessed even after I leave this earth or even past your own death. What conventional job offers that? You see, the money goes with the job. You die, you leave that job or whatever, you may have life insurance, and that's good. But the money from that job stops. With Morinda, the money keeps going if you set yourself up and you have a will and have it ready. So there you have it. 20 reasons why more and more people are leaving traditional business and starting their own home-based Morinda Bioactive business. People just like you. They've begun to dream again. Now I want to share a story with you in closing this up here real quick. I was on an assignment in southern Utah, actually a little bit farther than that. This is the Grand Canyon in Arizona. And as I was there shooting photographs, I noticed an eagle that came up. And he began to spread his wings, and he circled and circled. He went higher and higher and higher until he went totally out of sight. He never moved his wings, but he went totally out of sight. You see, an eagle is born to soar. Now, why did that eagle keep going higher and higher and higher without moving his wings? Folks, it was because of the updraft. The heat from the bottom of that canyon is much warmer than the air on top, and the heat rises. As that thermal was going up, that updraft was going up, that eagle spread his wings and went totally out of sight. So, that's something I'd seen before. So that was pretty neat, though. But what happened next is what was astounding to me. They have little canyon swallows all through the canyons in southern Utah and Arizona, and they kind of zip around right at sunrise and at sunset like little jet fighters. They're made to zip, 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 not soar and float on the air currents. But one of them came out. All of a sudden he stopped. He did move his wings, and he started circling just like the eagle did. And he went higher and higher and higher and higher. I thought, wow, he never moved his wings. And he went up as high as the eagle did. And I thought, wow, that updraft was so strong that it carried that little canyon swallow as high as the eagle. He went totally out of sight. I was thinking that canyon swallow never had probably been that high before in his life. And when I joined this business, I started thinking about that. Because of Morinda Bioactives is the updraft that I was able to catch. I wasn't some eagle in network marketing like a lot of other people are. I had never been that successful in it, but I was willing to spread my wings. I was willing to take a chance. I was willing to take that leap and believe in what we had. And as I did that, I caught that thermal. I caught that updraft. And I went higher and higher and higher than I had ever gone before in my life. And many other people have in this company. what you want to do right now is you want to catch that updraft. And you have just caught the updraft right here in Morinda Bioactives. All you have to do now is spread your wings, catch that updraft, let the business work for you, let the products work for you, and your dreams can come true. You'll have visions and you'll see things that you've never seen before. You go to places that you've never gone before because of what we have, that updraft that we have here in Morinda.